Why is nobody talking about Gachiakuta? This is a question that I've seen on Reddit, Twitter, and in these discords I frequent. And to be fair, it's an excellent question to have. And funny enough, you've come to the right place because as someone who has been covering Gachiakuta since its inception, there will be no one better to tell you what the hell is going on. As you all know, I'm DomoSenpai, the Gachiakuta enthusiast, and of course, the Kagurabachi enthusiast. And if you guys are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, do yourselves a favor and subscribe to the channel. I usually cover a wide variety of anime and manga, but it's mostly Bachi and Gachi, so if you enjoy these things, make sure you tell a friend of a friend, and let's get this party started. Usually, we start these segments off by trying to reason with our viewers and tell them exactly what they want to hear. You know, the good old hand holding into all of the reasons why this manga is not as big as we thought it would be, and that's exactly what we're not gonna do. Yeah, you thought, didn't you? The goal is to inform you as to why Gachiakuta is not at the forefront of manga. That's the entire goal of this video. But I also offer a lot of things that could change the trajectory of where it's going, and also highlighting the super positive things about Gachiakuta. With how amazing its art, story, and characters are, you would think that it would be an insanely popular manga, no? Not to mention, it is recommended by one of the most popular mangakas to date, but we'll get to that a little later. So let's get into all the reasons why Gachiakuta is not at the forefront of manga. I've talked about this before in a few of my previous videos, but for as great of a manga that Gachiakuta is, it's not getting the type of treatment that the art warrants. Let's get into the main reason, and that is because it is locked behind a paywall. Yes, you heard me correctly. For whatever reason, Kodansha, Weekly Shonen Magazine, don't have something similar to a Manga Plus or even what Shonen Jump does, and that is a free simulpub, while having the subscription to read the other chapters. That, in my opinion, is the biggest detriment to Gachiakuta because while it is hardly known, the fact that people have to pay per chapter, to me, a sad case of we want your money and we want it now. I complained about this in a plethora of videos since K-Manga became a thing. It 1000% deserves better, but will it ever happen? Probably not. Next up is the lack of publicity and promo. Have you heard of Gachiakuta before running into this video or a few of the hundreds that I've made before? Probably not, and that is precisely why this is quite the issue. While it doesn't get the press that it deserves on the internet, there are quite a few places on planet Earth that actually gives Gachi its flowers, and wildly enough, it's not Japan. France, or if we want to broaden the scope and just say Europe in general, has a really strong Gachiakuta scene. So much so that the publication over there had special pop-up shops, limited and collector's editions of the volume releases, and plenty more. But outside of EU, there's really nowhere else that gets even remotely close to the love and care they are putting into the promo for Gachiakuta. No pop-up shots in the US or Japan, or anywhere else for that matter. Not even a hint of love from Kodansha themselves. Funny enough, in regards to not getting love from Kodansha, I even made a video about that. But you guys can go watch that yourselves. Only thing keeping it alive for the most part is fans, and we'll get into that in the next segment. Lastly, I want to talk about something that isn't that big of a deal, but if you have a short attention span, this might be a bigger problem than you think. While Gachiakuta has some streaks of greatness, the beginning is pretty slow, but with good reason. Gachiakuta focuses on world building and story building as opposed to fights right out of the gate, and while me being a person who loves story stuff loves this type of thing, majority of shonen fans don't. Every shonen fan expects battles and death right from the start, and Gachiakuta does not do that, but instead, it captures your attention with insanely good art, cool characters, and an even more amazing world than we give it credit for. These are all of the reasons as to why Gachiakuta is not at the forefront of manga. But with saying all that, you're probably wondering, if it's not getting all of these things, then how is it even still alive? I'm glad you asked. But before we get into that, here's a word from our sponsors. Big shout out to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co for sponsoring this video. You guys know that we have been working together for the past, 4 months now? We re-upped, and I'm glad to be back with you guys and doing cool little tidbits like this. It's always fun to work with. Now, y'all know that Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co are both monthly pop snack subscription boxes, right? If you guys want to ever experience Japan, like I do, I want to visit Japan at some point, but if you guys don't have the funds to visit Japan, why not bring Japanese tradition and Japanese culture to your own home by buying yourselves one of these boxes? Tokyo Treat you get up to 20 exclusive limited edition snacks, right? Seasonal flavored at that, so it's always dependent on the season, which is cool because we're gonna get into the seasonal stuff in a little bit. Sakura Co. always offers snacks from the local Japanese snack makers, which I think is super sick. And you know me, I'm always fond of supporting smaller businesses and local markets and stuff like that because me being a smaller content creator, I know what that brings to the table. And since we're talking about seasonal snacks and the theme of each box being spring related, why don't we hop into the Tokyo Treat box, which is Sakura Snacktastic. You get a plethora of good snacks in here. You get Sakura Castella Cake, which I immediately devoured in like 2 seconds, Sakura Leaf Cracker, and much more. Now, on to the beauty of the Sakura Co. box, right? It is literally the beauty of Sakura. If you guys look at this box, to me, this is the symbol of spring cleaning, right? I would have this out on my table while I'm cleaning up, dusting, you know, getting all the stale old air out, bringing all the fresh spring air in. That's exactly what I would do with this box. And then not to mention, to top it off, this month's tableware is the Neko Sakura dish, which nothing symbolizes spring more than drinking tea off of this Sakura dish while the windows are open and the leaves are falling or blooming wherever you are. I think that this is the epitome of spring. You also get Sakura Mochi, Sakura Biscuits, Sakura Dorayaki, and sweet Sakura tea, which completely surprised me, by the way, I'll have you know. You can learn more about each of these snacks for each of these boxes with these booklets that they provide. They always give great information about what's in the snacks, the allergen stuff, and you know, just where directly these things are made, which is one of my favorite parts about the booklets. Also, if you guys want to do yourself a favor and get one of these boxes, use my code down below, code DOMO. It gets you a nice little percentage off, and you're also helping me as a creator, right? It's just one of the cool things you get to do here. So you help me, I help you, we help Sakura Co. and Tokyo Treat by continuing to support their amazing products. Appreciate you guys for watching this segment, and I appreciate Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the action. So while we tallied up all of the negative things that hinder Gachiakuta, why don't we get into all of the positive points as to why Gachiakuta is still alive and going strong? Starting with the stability of its sales. Now, these may not be astronomical numbers to you, but if you think about it, being a brand new title and having hardly any press, it has sold pretty well, with Volume 5 being its highest seller by far with 35,000 copies sold. But since then, they've been pretty stable, and I think that is essentially one of the best outcomes we could ask for. And by the way, you didn't hear this from me, but with how good of a cover Volume 10 is, I think we can expect a massive increase in sales. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how good of a position it's actually in. Gachiakuta is in Weekly Shonen Magazine. While that may come off as a detriment at first, let's be honest here, it's actually one of the best things for it. Unlike Shonen Jump, where you have to get to the point relatively fast with no explanations, which could lead to disaster, Weekly Shonen Magazine does not require that. In fact, they are a very lenient publication, unless the manga does insanely poor, which by their standards has to be really bad. It's pretty much a double-edged sword though when you think about it, because while the pub it gets is non-existent, Weekly Shonen Jump is quite lenient, as I mentioned above. Up next, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen this on a few occasions, but Kei has been collabing with some well-known VTubers, and while that may seem strange at first, understand that for the most part, this is what is known as cross-promotion. Similar to how a lot of Shonen Jump mangakas draw each other's characters in their style, Kei collabed with Mori Kaiopi on a few projects which kind of got the ball rolling, but not to what we expected it would be. And the last one with Yuto Horigome, who was a famous Olympic skater, while it was very cool, I think the audience they were trying to appeal to might not have enjoyed it as much. And Kodansha didn't do anything to promote it. Go check the YouTube channel. Do I even need to talk about how good the art is? Do I even need to dive into how great the story is? Or even the characters? All of those things speak for themselves to a high degree. And lastly, I want to talk about the power of recommendation. Now, for those of you who've been living under a rock for the last 2 years, Kei Urana is the former assistant of Atsushi Okubo, who is the creator of not only Fire Force but Soul Eater. Yes, I know it's redundant, but I have to say it that way because, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even see that. And with being from that camp, it netted her a lot of positives. One being that since Okubo has a lot of clout in the industry, just a recommendation from him alone is enough to get you pretty far. Couple that with her next level artistry and writing ability, it's no wonder that Gachiakuta is still alive and kicking to this day. Now, on to the final segment, or my closing statement, and that is the age-old question. Will Gachiakuta ever truly pop off? And to give you the long and short of that, to be completely honest, I'm unsure at the moment. Things need to change, and that is not a bad thing. For one, it needs an anime, and with an anime obviously comes the announcement first. Secondly, let's hope that Kodansha puts in a lot more effort in promoting Gachiakuta, because if that happens, then we can obviously see an increase in sales, increase in viewership, etc, etc. But on the flip side of that, we also need more creators talking about it. Unlike Shonen Jump titles, weekly Shonen Jump titles don't have that many creators talking about them, and that sucks. Lastly, I also don't think Gachiakuta has had that moment yet. Y'all know what moment I'm talking about. The one that sets the internet ablaze with how wild, crazy, gutsy it was, or just a moment that has massive shock value. It hasn't had that yet. And according to a lot of people that I've ran across, apparently chapter 87 has an insane shock moment that I can't wait to see. And once we get there, you'll see the video on it. Anyways, that is why nobody is talking about Gachiakuta. If you guys are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, make sure you go down below, hit the link in the description or the red subscribe button. Either one to help me towards that cause of reaching my goal, which is 100K subscribers by the end of 2024. This video is probably gonna be long and probably gonna be random, I know, but I hope it helps shine a light on a manga that I believe is one of the top 5 hybrid shonens right now, and it's not 5. Leave your feedback and all of that good stuff down below. If you guys like this type of video, right, like this format, make sure to keep me in the loop with that, because I'm trying a bunch of different things and trying to, you know, expand my radar, right? I'm trying to expand my audience. I'm just trying to expand, bro. I'm pretty much just trying to expand. So yeah, let me know all of your feedback and all of that down below. And with that being said, man, it's your boy DomoSenpai, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.